Hi, Dr. Dan the Man. This is Andy McNeil. I'm doing my video on nuclear power and the pros and cons. The major pro for nuclear energy is the reduction of carbon dioxide emissions and cutting down on the greenhouse gases. People are pro nuclear power based on the amount of pollution that coal power plants put into the atmosphere. And it also talks about a pro being that since Chernobyl there hasn't been any accidents, but clearly this book wasn't written before the accident in Japan when those earthquakes hit, and there was almost a massive catastrophe in Japan. And also going into this, before I read this, I thought I was pro nuclear power. I've never heard anything bad about it. I didn't realize the massive amounts of nuclear waste that was produced. And I don't know, going through the pros of not having nuclear energy, the 5 myths about nuclear energy, it talks about nuclear energy being clean is one myth. The second myth is nuclear energy is inexpensive. The government's put in over $165 billion into nuclear energy and barely $5 billion into energy sources such as solar and wind together. And those sources, people think that between wind and solar energy could produce almost 1/3 of America's power. And I just think that after reading through these myths, this book just gives a much better argument against nuclear energy. So, I mean, it's kind of changing my mind a little bit reading through this. I guess I'd have to say, after reading this, I'm definitely open to different sources of power. Just the massive amounts of nuclear waste produced by these power plants, I don't understand where that would go. They just store that in the Yuma Mountain project, I guess. I think that would cause a lot of problems for the future and cause a lot of health issues in the future. And I know there's only been 2 accidents or whatever, but I just feel like with other sources of power, you basically have no risk of any massive catastrophes like this over a power source. And I think I'm pro wind and solar energy. I think the government should put more money into those energy sources than the nuclear power, and they should further the research on that. Thank you, Dr. Dan the Man. This is my video. I hope it's good.